Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy, Big Rob, Electric Video Gamer, the OG EVG, Mr. GG's himself. Back at you guys with a Nintendo Direct predictions video. Now, usually I put my face up in the camera and do all these wild expressions for all these wild predictions that I'm gonna have. I ain't got time. I ain't got time for that. Life's just been kicking me in the groin. Got a lot of stuff going on, and on top of that, I recently got addicted to One Piece. Y'all know I ain't got no time. So, let's go ahead and just give some quick fire predictions on this direct that's coming up. So, first things first, what makes me so sure that we're getting a direct this month? If you guys are watching this, you probably already know Nintendo has a September direct every single year and has for like a decade at this point. So, yeah, I think it's safe to say we're probably going to get one. And I know Mario Brothers Wonder had their direct recently, and that might put a wrench in things. I don't think it does. I think they still have a general direct before Tokyo Game Show because of Tokyo Game Show. So, all good. All right. So, I know there's a lot of leaks and a lot of rumors going around right now talking about what people expect to see. I'm gonna focus on things that are confirmed, right? The confirmation of things that will or won't be there, and then I'm gonna make some assumptions or predictions of my own. Hopefully, without the influence of leaks. If there is leak influence, I ain't gonna tell you. That's all I'm gonna say. All right. So, you guys ready? Here we go. First things first, I'm going to talk about what's not going to be there. Two things. One, already been confirmed. Tears of the Kingdom DLC. Not going to be there. At all. And, yeah, I kind of figured that anyway. Tears of the Kingdom is a game that I genuinely felt like does not need DLC. Since people have been talking about it, and since I've played it all the way through, I'm just like, this game's fine on its own. It doesn't really need anything else. And I'm glad that the developers feel the exact same way. That might disappoint some people. It's fine for me. I'm totally cool with Tears of the Kingdom just being a complete experience. That being said, it would be nice to get Master Quest on it, which could possibly still come and not fall into the whole DLC plans that they're thinking of. I don't know. It's semantics at that point, but either way, at the very most, if we get anything from Tears of the Kingdom, it's probably going to be Master Quest. And even that may not be considered major DLC by Nintendo. So, who knows? Second thing that we're not going to see, Switch 2, or as I like to call it, Super Switch. We're not going to see anything about the Super Switch here. I know a lot of stuff has been coming out about it recently. I don't think we're going to see it here. I don't think we're going to see it for a while. I don't think it's coming until like fall of 2024 at the very earliest. So I'm not expecting a reveal until maybe like April or May of 2024. So, yeah, no signs of new hardware here. At least not like a holiday bundle for the Switch that we always get. All right. So those are basically the things that I'm sure are not going to be there. Anything else that I don't mention, obviously, I don't think is going to be there. But I just felt like mentioning those. Anywho, let's talk about what I think will be there. First things first, there's a few games that still need to come out. Super Mario Bros. Wonder. We just had a full direct on it, and I don't think there's much else that they could tell us about. Anything else I feel like they would tell us about regarding this game would be spoiler territory. Just straight up. It just would be spoilers. It's like if there's like, oh, here's some more wonder effects that you might see in the game. You've already shown us a ton. At this point, it's spoilers. Oh, there's another world that you can access in this game. You told us 7. We're gonna believe you for right now. We know 2D Mario. It's not gonna be just 7. But if you tell us there's gonna be an extra world, it's just like, See, now you're spoiling what you tried to not spoil a bit ago. That's dumb. Stop. Extra characters, spoilers. Uh, Extra badges, spoilers. You've already shown us enough of the game. Don't worry about it. So, my prediction slash hope is that if Super Mario Brothers Wonder shows up in this direct, it's sizzle reeled. It gets sizzle reeled, as in no new information. It's just a quick animation to go in the sizzle reel with all the other third party games and other stuff. Speaking of sizzle reels, here's another game that's coming. Here's a couple other games that are coming up soon. Detective Pikachu Returns and WarioWare Move It. Detective Pikachu Returns, I think it's sizzle reeled. I don't think they have anything else to talk about with that game because it's a story-based game. If you don't want to spoil the story, don't talk about it too much. Also, personally, I just have a strong aversion to putting Pokemon in a main Nintendo Direct, which they did last time, and in both portions, I would say arguably were the worst part of the Direct. So that's why I'm just like, yeah, just if you're gonna put Pokemon here, leave it in as the spin-off and sizzle reel it because you already talked about it. So Detective Pikachu, if it shows up, sizzle reeled. WarioWare Move It. I think we could actually get a small little like overview trailer for it because we don't know what the story for that game is. And obviously, like, it's WarioWare. Who cares about the story? Fair, but I feel like we did get kind of that story trailer for WarioWare Get It Together. And we kind of got it also for WarioWare Gold. So, I don't know. It just feels kind of like an obligation bit. Like, yeah, just tell us a bit of what the story is. Show us how the map is supposed to work. That kind of stuff. And I think that's fine. So I think a little bit more of WarioWare Get It to or Move It. I'm sorry, WarioWare Move It is fine. I still don't expect like an entire segment dedicated to it because it's WarioWare. They kind of already showed us some of the important stuff regarding this. There doesn't need to be much more. And then finally the big one, Super Mario RPG. Super Mario RPG is releasing in November, and I think that this is going to be the focus point of this direct. This is going to be the game that gets the overview trailer in the middle of the direct, basically. So we're going to see what some of these new mechanics are. They're going to reintroduce us to Mallow, Geno, Mario, Peach, Bowser. They might show us some of the bad guys that you gotta fight. They'll show us some of the areas and all that jazz. And here's the thing. A lot of people already know how that works, so they might feel, you don't really need to show us this. Remember, this game came out on the Super Nintendo. I'm sorry for anyone I'm about to hurt by saying this, but this game is about 30 years old. It's okay to go over some of its features again. Arguing about whether they should talk about a game that has already existed or not is kind of a moot point, especially when they've done so for games like Live Alive or Link's Awakening, which I would make the same argument for Link's Awakening, honestly. Like, the game's 30 years old. It's okay to go over it. Because, let's be real, a lot of Nintendo gamers now are definitely not 30 years old. Or most likely have not played the original Super Mario RPG. Because it just hasn't been available for them. So, it's totally fine. That's why I think Mario RPG is going to get a big overview, a big blowout, and all that. There are other games as well. That's just for this year, basically. I know there's Pikmin that comes out later on this month. Pikmin 1 and 2. They're not going to talk about that, obviously, because technically it's already out digitally. That's just the physical. They're done with that. They're done with that. And then there's stuff for next year as well. Now, they might just pull up and say, hey, this direct is focused on games that are releasing in 2023. Don't buy it. Don't ever buy that. They almost always talk about stuff that's further on. All right, especially in the September direct. So, yeah, I fully expect them to talk about one or two other games that are in the future. And we know of three of them from Nintendo at the moment. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon Remaster, um, the new Super Princess Peach game. Well, we say Super Princess Peach. It's just the Princess Peach game. And then, of course, the elephant. Well, we already have an elephant in the room. I guess the morph ball in the room. I don't know. Metroid Prime 4. Let's start with Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon because I think that will be here and I think it will release in February. I think they'll give it a release date for February. I think it'll look significantly better than it did when they revealed it in June. When they revealed it in June, it did not look great. I think it's going to look a lot better this time. Why do I feel that way? Remember Luigi's Mansion 3. When they revealed Luigi's Mansion 3, it looked rough. Then they showed it again at E3 the next year. Looked so much better. I trust Next Level to do the same thing here. Even if it's not Next Level working on it, I still trust them to do the same thing here. It's going to look a lot better. The Princess Peach game, I'm honestly 50-50. I'm not sure if we'll see it or not. I'm not on the camp that, oh, we're getting a sneak peek at one of the first Super Switch games. This is what this is. I'm not in that camp. That's coming out for current Switch. It's not being saved. They're not doing that. But do I think it'll show up? It could. I don't know. I could see this. I don't know how far along it is really. That's kind of the thing. We don't really know anything about this game, so we really don't know when it could show up. Honestly, like given that it's a Princess Peach game, there is still a possibility that this could kind of shift my Luigi's Mansion prediction a little bit, and they'd be like, "All right, let's put this Princess Peach game out on Valentine's Day because it's Peach." And this game's actually further along than we thought. I don't know about that. I think it's still got some time to it because they really didn't reveal much about it. Whereas Luigi's Mansion is just kind of a known quantity. Um, I'm gonna say that if they do show it off, they'll give us the title and they'll give us a vague spring 2024. That's what I'm gonna say basically. I'm gonna stick to that. Metroid Prime 4 depends on what I'm going to go over in a bit. All right. So, that's based on all the games that we know of from Nintendo that are coming. Now, to give my predictions on other stuff. First things first, we now have a pattern. February, Metroid Prime Remastered. GameCube game, remastered for the Switch. June, Pikmin 1 and 2. Two GameCube games, remastered for the Switch. We could get another one. We straight up could get another one. And I have two in particular that I think are front runners. The two in particular that I think are front runners are F-Zero GX. Reason why I say F-Zero GX is because have been rumors there have been rumors going on about that. Um, there's Nate the Hate who has said that they've been more or less sitting on a F-Zero GX remaster for a while, or they have been working on one. It could show up here. It definitely could. And I think that if you're going to try to give F-Zero a chance in the modern age, remastering GX is probably the way to go. Because not only do you give the people probably the most popular F-Zero game, at least amongst the community, but you also see what could be the groundworks for making a new one. Because I do think that they do want to make a new one. despite the excuses that they may have given previously. Second possibility, Metroid Prime 2 and 3. So it's been going around also that Metroid Prime 2 and 3 are remastered for Switch as well, but not as much as Metroid Prime 1. Metroid Prime 1 was basically like a full remake, while these two are, as it would imply, remasters. Obviously, Metroid Prime 3 is not a GameCube game. Whatever. 2 is. I'm counting it in this. I think that a double pack of this could be released, could be shadow dropped. Um, and this is basically the dependency. If Metroid Prime 2 and 3 are in this direct, Metroid Prime 4 is also in this direct. And it's probably going to be the one more thing. Or like the big reveal in the middle of some sort. That's basically my thought process on it. It's a possibility. I'm not banking on it. Honestly, I hate to say this, especially since Metroid has been doing so well recently. I'm more confident in F-Zero. I'm genuinely more confident in F-Zero uh, being here. So, we'll see how it goes. I definitely have felt like an F-Zero was coming up at some point, and it seems like I might be vindicated. Cool. Okay. So that's what I think about GameCube remasters, and I do want to make mention, I do think that there are some other GameCube remasters that are also being worked on and could happen for current Switch and or the next one. Obviously, there's Wind Waker Twilight Princess HD. I feel like they're just going to let Tears of the Kingdom ride out the holiday first. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, I think, is also in the works. Not here. Not while Super Mario RPG is happening. And then the last one I would probably say would be. I had it in my head and then it left. Good lord. Where did you go? Luigi's Mansion, the original. They're already remastering two. I could see them just going ahead and remastering and shadow dropping the first one. I mean, look at what they did with Pikmin. They did Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Then they did Pikmin 4, and then they said, hey, here's Pikmin 1 and 2. It's all out of order. So be it. Nintendo does it. Nintendo does what Nintendo does, you know? So I could see it happening. Alright. That's it for GameCube remasters. Let's talk NSO. Nintendo Switch Online. I don't know. Genuinely. They might finally decide to drop Mario Party 3, which would be so nice. But I don't know. There's still quite a few of those N64 and Game Boy Advance games that they haven't dropped yet. And it would feel weird for them to announce new ones when the lineups that they've already announced have not come out. Like, as much as I want to say, hey, they're going to announce Four Swords for Game Boy Advance Nintendo Switch Online. Why would they do that when they haven't released Amazing Mirror or Golden Sun yet? Or as much as I want to be like, hey, I think they're going to shadow drop Super Smash Brothers for N64 Online. Why would they do that when they haven't dropped Mario Party 3 or 1080 Snowboarding yet? That's just the thought process behind it, pretty much. Just like, they need to finish what they've already promised first before they start trying to deliver more, I feel. I just wish they would deliver it faster. That being said, I do think that there is one fairly solid prediction. I do have one fairly solid prediction when it comes to NSO. It's kind of a weird one. I think that Nintendo will do a very weird, funny kind of Nintendo move, and they will release the NSO version, the original Super Nintendo's version of Super Mario RPG on the same day that the remake launches. That's my prediction. I think that they're going to put the SNES one on NSO on the exact same day that Super Mario RPG launches. Is that weird? Yes. It's Nintendo. It could happen. It's weird enough for Nintendo to do. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking is probably going to happen. All right. Next up, now some different kind of game predictions. First things first. Where's my guy? Where's the monkey? Where's DK? Donkey Kong. My boy Donkey Kong. He's been in the shadows for long enough. Let's go ahead and bring him out. I think that a new Donkey Kong game could come about, and I feel like I've been predicting this for a while as well. I'm thinking a 2.5D isometric Mario versus Donkey Kong game. That's the way I think Donkey Kong is going to come about. Because here's the thing. Retro's hard at work on the Metroid Prime series right now. And we now have full confirmation that they have been trying to work on different projects since Tropical Freeze, since Returns even, and multiple of those projects have been canceled. I don't think they've been working on another Donkey Kong Country. I think that they've been trying to experiment with other things while also trying to work on Metroid. And the other things fell through, and Nintendo said, all right, can you just keep doing Metroid? And like, all right, we'll do Metroid. I don't think Donkey Kong has been in the works for a bit. If anything, it's probably still in the pre-production phase. Any kind of Donkey Kong they're doing. So I'm not expecting a new Donkey Kong Country from Retro, and I highly doubt that Nintendo decided to have someone else work on Donkey Kong Country. That being said, they did try to have someone else work on Metroid Prime, and we saw how that went. Honestly, because we saw how that went, maybe Nintendo didn't. So look, we're going in circles. It's a full circle now. But you get the idea, right? And I do think that Nintendo will eventually try to do a 3D Donkey Kong, but I'm not sure they know who they want to do it yet. Or at least I don't know who they would want to do it yet. So I think we're going to hold off on a 3D Donkey Kong for now. Sorry about that. Had to take a quick phone call. But anyway, what was I talking about? Right, I was talking about the potential for a new Donkey Kong game. I think what we'll probably see is something smaller. Like, again, what I mentioned, a 2.5D isometric Mario versus Donkey Kong kind of game. The reason why I might not believe that was because of the June Direct had a lot of Mario related stuff, and a Mario versus Donkey Kong game to kind of play off of that movie fever, that the fever from the film, probably would have gotten much more attention then than it would now. But I think it's just a matter of it's still a thing that they can work on and they can show off. So that's what I'm feeling is basically a new Mario versus Donkey Kong. And here's the thing, don't worry, I'm not talking about the minis. I think the minis might be a part of it, but I don't think they're going to be the major thing like they have been for the last few Mario versus Donkey Kong games. I think we're probably looking at a return to form, something similar to Donkey Kong 94, but in an isometric style similar to Captain Toad. Or at the very least, that's what I want. Like an isometric style like Captain Toad. So it's like got some of that puzzle solving elements that works with that Donkey Kong 94 style movement, gameplay, and all that. So that's my thought process on it. That's what I would like to see from Donkey Kong, and that's what I think they may actually be working on because that seems like an evolution of that classic Donkey Kong style. Because here's the thing, even in like that isometric box, the barrels can still roll. They can still bounce off stuff. You can still jump off of them. So that's my thought process on that. So, Donkey Kong. That's another thing. What else? I'm going to predict it until it comes. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep on predicting it until it comes. Rhythm Heaven. It's got to come eventually. And from what I hear, the composer, who I believe was sick for quite a while, he's been better actually for quite a while now. So it's not who's to say that we couldn't possibly see another Rhythm Heaven come up pretty soon. I really do hope. I really do hope we get a new Rhythm Heaven. What else? Let's talk DLC. Now, I already mentioned earlier, no Tears of the Kingdom DLC. But I do think that we are going to finally see Side Order. We're finally going to see the Splatoon 3 Side Order DLC. It's finally going to get revealed. It'll probably release, I'm going to say, it could be and right after this presentation thing, but I'm going to say it comes out in December, honestly. I'm going to say that it probably is going to come out in December. We'll see how it goes, but that's my prediction on it. As for what it is, I mean, I think we're already well aware at this point. It's basically a what if story of what if Marina won, what if Order won the Chaos versus Order Splatfest? What if instead of the Splatlands, we got Splatopia, essentially? I'm going to be mad if it's actually called Splatopia and I got that. You heard it here first, Splatopia. But either way, that's the idea. That's the idea that I think is going to be behind it, and we're going to see some form of like Octo expansion level kind of scenario. Because that's technically what Octo expansion was just a big 1984. Well, it was an experimentation thing. This one's going to be way more 1984 than even that was. So we're going to see some interesting stuff there. And for you kids who don't know about 1984, look it up. I don't like books, but that's a good book. And then another DLC, Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC is ending very soon. We're getting our last batch. I think they're going to show off probably like the new track. It might just be like the new track again, and then they'll show off the last two characters that they're giving us. And I'm going to guess, I'm just going to put my foot down and guess that the last two characters we get are Pauline and Diddy Kong. That's basically what I'm going to put my foot down and guess. But here's the thing. I think what they're going to do is they're going to tease something else. What that something else is, I don't know, but I think it's going to be some form of a gameplay shift of some sort. What kind of gameplay shift that could be, I don't know. I was thinking of something along the lines of switching items, but I don't think that would be a big enough thing to tease. However, something that would incorporate switching items and also be worthy of a tease would be a double dash mode, which they might save for the next Mario Kart actually, but it would be nice to kind of see it here. Other alternatives, they might have more characters that they might say, and there's more characters coming as well. You know, like saying, oh, we got some more, but we're not telling you about them yet. Or they might say something along the lines of battle mode gets more courses in this one. I feel like there's going to be something extra because they like to one-up themselves with every wave that passes. And so far, I feel like they've done a decent job with that. So, hopefully we'll see how they decide to one-up themselves this time. And I think it's going to be in a slightly big way. Now here's hoping F-Zero doesn't steal his thunder. F-Zero's going to steal its thunder. Anyway. F-Zero's going to steal its thunder. But anyway. That's for the DLCs. What else? Intelligent systems. Y'all need to chill. That's all I'm saying is that y'all need to doggone chill. Intelligent Systems are releasing 3 games this year. Technically, one of them they did not develop. Technically, they did not develop one of those games. But 3 of their usual suspects have come out this year or will come out this year. Fire Emblem Engage back in January, Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp in August, which, let's be real, would have released earlier if it wasn't for world events, and WarioWare Move It coming out in November. That's 3 Intelligent System stuff. So they shouldn't release anything else. But I'm pretty sure we're gonna get Genealogy of the Holy War Echoes. I'm pretty sure we're getting Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War. I'm still pretty sure about that. When will it come? It could. I think. I think it's either going to come in December or in March, with no in between. I don't think it's coming in January. I don't think it's coming in February. I think it's either going to be December this year or March next year. That's what I'm holding on to pretty much. But yeah, Genealogy of the Holy War Echoes. That is a firm prediction as well. And I think that's pretty much it for the Nintendo stuff, at least as far as like actual predictions, not just like the wants, but the actual predictions from Nintendo. That's what I could see happening. So, you know, a full blowout on Super Mario RPG, a story trailer for WarioWare Move It, F-Zero GX Shadow Drop, an F-Zero GX Shadow Drop, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon release date, more like a title reveal for the Peach game with a spring date. Excuse me, I'm sorry. What else? What else did I say? 2.5D Mario vs. Donkey Kong. And the last one was Genealogy of the Holy War, right? As far as like full new games go. That's not bad. It's a lot of remakes. It is a lot of remakes and remasters, right? With the only real new games being the Princess Peach game, which we already knew about, and then the Mario vs. Donkey Kong. I think that fits. It kind of gives that air of swan song for the Switch. This is basically bringing a lot of stuff forward that a lot of people want to play or maybe have never played, and giving them an opportunity to play them, see what it's like on this system, right? Oh, Rhythm Heaven. I almost forgot Rhythm Heaven. I can't believe I almost forgot Rhythm Heaven. But yeah, 3 new games. But all 3 new games are relatively small in scale. That's fine. I think that's okay. I think that works out pretty well. Um, but let me throw in some outlandish predictions here, just for the heck of it. Uh, we still don't know what Nintendo's Bandai Namco game is yet. Kid Icarus Uprising. I'd love it. I'd absolutely love it. Please. That would be awesome. At this point, I'm talking about my hopes. Kid Icarus Uprising would be absolutely amazing. I would be so down for that. That being said, I still think that the Bandai Namco game. Well, they said it's an action game, right? So it could still be Kid Icarus Uprising. I still think it's Mario Baseball. I still think it's Mario Sluggers. I still think we're gonna get Mario Sluggers on Switch at some point. Probably next year. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, Kid Icarus Uprising would be absolutely nice. I'm still gonna tout that if you're going to do anything with Earthbound, remake it, and or do a spin-off. So that's why I still think Earthbound Remake could happen. I know that Nintendo, it's been confirmed Nintendo was pitched a Claymation Earthbound Remake, I think for the GameCube. A lot of time has passed since the GameCube, so they could accept it now. They didn't accept it then, but they could accept something like that now. Please. Please accept something like that now. I also think that Earthbound lends itself very well to a kart racer. I kind of just randomly had this idea one day for an Earthbound kart racer where like different characters have different PSI abilities and then also like different items like the slingshot, the baseball bat, the bottle rockets, the bombs and all that stuff that you can utilize. And then of course there's plenty of locations you can go to. Newport City, On It, Forside, Threed, Summers, Winters, the Zoo. You know, Earthbound as a series has so many different locations. Magicant has so many fantastical locations that you can go to. A bunch of weird characters to play as. I feel like it would lend itself so well to a kart racer. So I do want an Earthbound kart. Will it happen? No. I feel like I'm the only one crazy enough to have this idea. I'm just hoping that Nintendo is too. We'll see how it goes. And then two series that I really do want to see. Two series that I really do want to come, but they're probably not going to. Wario Land and Star Fox. Wario Land, they're doing WarioWare right now. They probably don't want to advertise a Wario Land at this moment. I could see them trying to do it in February, but not now. And then Star Fox, I said this when the Switch launched, and they have yet to prove otherwise. We're not getting Star Fox on Switch. They are basically like, they put the series on ice after Zero. Even as someone like me who likes Zero, not many people did. I understand why not many people did. And Nintendo just does not know what to do with that series right now. So it's pretty much on the same ice that F-Zero currently is in. But, you know, just like Mariah Carey, F-Zero's starting to find its way out of the ice. Probably. But Star Fox is probably going to be there for a while. I don't expect them until probably like 2 years after Super Switch. Genuinely. I don't expect Star Fox until maybe 2 years after the Super Switch launches. So that's my thought process on it. But yeah, those are pretty much like my wants, my hopes. Some are conflated, obviously. Mario Party is another one that's just probably not going to happen. But it would be nice because I love Mario Party. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it for the Nintendo side. Now let's talk third parties real quick. I think we're not going to see a influx of like new third party games that much because a lot of them are getting revealed kind of on the side. So we're gonna, or have already been revealed. So we're probably not going to get a ton of new information about some or new reveals for some. Like I'm not expecting Persona 3 Reload here. As much as I would like to, if they were going to put it on Switch, they would have announced it in June. They didn't, and they haven't announced it since. So I'm not expecting it. Honestly, like Sonic Superstars will probably get talked about. I don't know about Metal Gear. I don't know about the Metal Gear collection. Batman might show up in kind of the sizzle reel segment. That's about the extent that I could expect. Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D. We might see that. Because it's been quite a while since we've seen that. It's right before Tokyo Game Show as well, so obviously I feel like Square Enix is probably going to be a big part of this. Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D probably will get shown off. We might get it. I'm going to throw in a dark horse. y'all are gonna look at me funny. I don't care. I think this is happening. I'm gonna throw in this dark horse. HD 2D Chrono Trigger. Nobody else would believe this. Nobody else would think, well, okay, let's be real. Everybody thinks this. Everybody wants this, which is why nobody thinks it would happen. But I think that we all collectively don't think it will happen enough for Nintendo to be like, all right, do it. Or for Square to be like, all right, do it. I think an HD 2D Chrono Trigger could be coming. I think that could be like a big reveal for this, especially right before Tokyo Game Show. It would be absolutely massive and absolutely nuts. I would love it. I'm gonna lock it in. I'm gonna lock it in, and then be with that. That's probably all you would probably expect to see from Square, except for maybe the chance of getting the Lightning Saga, like a remaster of the Lightning Saga. That's probably the last thing that I would predict from Square. So Dragon Quest III HD 2D, Chrono Trigger HD 2D, and then a remaster of the Lightning Saga, basically Final Fantasy 13. That would be absolutely nuts lineup from Square. I could see it happening. I could genuinely see it happening now because Square's kind of Square's been going a bunch of different ways, but they've been releasing games after games after games. Some good, some bad. I think that these would genuinely be like reveals that would hype people up, especially on the Switch. So, yeah. And obviously, an HD 2D Chrono Trigger at any point would just be massive. And this is like the one time that I actually feel confident about it. So, yeah, I'm going to lock it in. HD 2D Chrono Trigger, HD 2D Dragon Quest 3, and Lightning Saga Remaster. All right. Level 5. I think they're actually going to be the big standouts here, too. Because they have Deca Police coming. They have Inazuma 11. They have Fantasy Life I. And then, I and then of course, they have Professor Layton. They have the new Professor Layton coming. I think we'll get a big reveal of the new Professor Layton. We'll probably get like a story trailer for it. A very big story trailer. So Professor Layton definitely I think will show up here. Deca Police as well I think will probably show up and we'll get a date. I don't think Layton will get a date, but I think they'll give like a story trailer. I think Inazuma 11 will probably get sizzle reeled. Fantasy Life I probably will also get sizzle reeled, but it'll get its release date in the sizzle reel. So that's what I'm thinking we're gonna see from level 5, basically. Deca Police will get like a brand new trailer, probably like an overview, honestly, and a release date. And yeah, Professor Layton will get a big story trailer. No release date yet, but it'll probably just say 2024. And yeah, Fantasy Life will probably get a sizzle reel, but it'll get a release date probably January of 2024, if I had to guess. It might be delayed a little bit. And then Inazuma 11 will get a sizzle reel as well. Is there anything else that I should mention here? I'm not sure. I could talk about wants all I want, I think, right? I really want Yakuza on Switch. I feel like that's like the last. Look, look. I feel like I say this all the time. This is the last big third-party series that I would want on Switch, and then I just think of another one eventually. This time, though, genuinely, Yakuza is probably the last big third-party series that I would want on Switch. If what they're saying about Super Switch is true, I feel like it will come to that eventually, if not the current Switch. But Yakuza 0 can run on Switch. Yakuza Kiwami can run on Switch. Yakuza Kiwami 2 could run on Switch. And then, of course, 3 through 5 can run on Switch. 6, maybe. 7 might be a stretch. 8's definitely a stretch. Ishin's a stretch. But, yeah, I could at least see like a collection of 0, Kiwami 1, and Kiwami 2. And maybe also the remaster collection for 3 through 5. I could see those possibly being announced and released for Switch eventually. We'll probably get more on Sonic Superstars as well. We might get to see like a new stage or whatnot. We might see some of the extra features. They talked about the battle mode last time. We might see more about like the costumes and stuff. We might actually see the Lego promotion too, like the actual Lego costumes in action, the Lego DLC in action. We also finally might see more of Trip and Fang, the two characters. Fang is not new, but Trip is. We might see more of them, and that would be nice too. And they might tease us with Supersonic. Speaking of Supersonic, I forgot all about this too. Sonic Frontiers. Sonic Frontiers DLC is releasing pretty soon, isn't it? We might get an actual look at what that would look like here. Because if you really think about it, we saw a lot of stuff from Sonic Frontiers in Nintendo Directs, just in general. So I could see them showing what this story DLC actually is supposed to look like. Giving us a tease for the story DLC, showing us how you can play as Tails, Knuckles, and Amy and all that. And then giving us another tease of Supersonic 2, basically. I could see that all being here. Especially, again, right before Tokyo Game Show, and essentially right before the DLC launches. I could see it happening. So yeah, Sonic Frontiers DLC, I more or less expect that too. And then aside from that, I think that's pretty much it. Because, like, I mean, what else is there to talk about? I know there's, like, Dragon Quest Monsters, which comes out later. I don't think they need to talk about that anymore. But I said that multiple times about Dragon Quest XI, and yet they talked about that pretty much in every single direct until it launched. So, who knows at this point? Uh, But those are basically the predictions that I have down for this. And this video ended up being way longer than I expected. Might have fluffed it up a little bit. Whoops. Oh well. But I think that covers a decent chunk of what I could see being in this direct. If we take all of this information at face value, like if all this information actually comes to pass, that would be A plus direct for me. Because obviously, bringing back F-Zero would be huge. Bringing back the original arcade Donkey Kong for me would be massive. Obviously, anything Rhythm Heaven related is an instant S rank for me. Yakuza Hidden Switch would be great. At this point, I'm not concerned about if third-party games will release on Switch or not, because I'm pretty sure the next system is going to be strong enough to maintain and keep a lot of third parties. And even if it wasn't, a lot of them are going to jump on board anyway, because we saw that happen with the Wii U. We saw that happen with the Wii U. The Wii was ridiculously popular. It didn't have a lot of third-party support at the start because the GameCube didn't sell that much. But as the Wii started getting more and more popular, it got more and more third-party support, and more third parties were just like, all right, well, we're on board with you now, Nintendo. So then Nintendo released the Wii U, and the third parties were like, all right then, here's Assassin's Creed, here's Mass Effect, here's Call of Duty, here's Madden, here's 2K, here's Batman Arkham, here's all these massive third-party games that we have. What do you mean they're not selling? Well, pulling support. And then that's why we didn't get much third-party support in the beginning for the Switch. But now that the Switch has been massively successful, we're going to see that again. We're going to see third parties really start to pull in for the successor. At least the ones that kind of held out for a while. That being said, that's not what this talk is about. This is predictions for this direct, not for whenever the Super Switch launches or whenever Super Switch happens. So I'm going to end it here. Thank you guys for listening in. I apologize for not showing my face through this whole predictions thing. And I do also apologize if the video splicing or anything else going on with this is amateurish. There's also not going to be an outro for this because I dumped those files on accident and I'm too lazy to get them back. Again, I'm addicted to One Piece. I ain't got time for that. So we're just going to stop it here. And once again, this has been Big Rob, Electric Video Gamer, the OG EVG, Mr. GG's himself. I'm not going to be able to let this stick, am I? Well, it doesn't have to. I probably won't be back for a while again. But so it goes. That's life, I suppose. And I'll see you when I see you. Peace.